Hey everyone, we're going to write equations using polar coordinates, and they give us x and y values. So basically, we're just going to do practice conversion here. And the thing you have to remember is that r squared equals x squared plus y squared. Also remember that y, let's do x first. X equals r cosine of theta, and y equals r sine of theta. Just remember those, and that will help us out. So the first problem we're going to do is 2x squared plus 2y squared equals 3. You notice this is a circle, equation of a circle. I'm going to factor out the 2. And if you want, this is x squared plus y squared is r squared. And what we're going to do is divide both sides also by 2. So r squared equals 3/2. I'm going to do another quickie here. So we have x squared plus y squared equals x. This is actually a circle as well, if you remember your conics with the center that is -1, 0, I believe. Anyway, that's not what we care about right now. All we're going to do is write this in conversion. So we already know that x squared plus y squared is r squared. And we also know that x equals r cosine of theta. If you want to divide both sides by r, we get r equals cosine of theta. All right? Let's do some more. So we have one that is x squared equals 4y. Do you remember what this is? This is your parabola that opens up. All right, so anyway, we are going to convert. So x squared is going to be, we're just going to put for x, r cosine of theta squared equals 4y. Remember, y is r times sine of theta. I forgot to put my square here. Okay, so I'm going to simplify this. This is really just r squared cosine squared equals 4r sine of theta. And if you want, you can move this over. R squared times cosine squared of theta minus 4r sine of theta equals 0. The main reason we do that is because we have this square here, and we're setting it up like a quadratic, just like you would a quadratic, your parabola here. And if you wanted to factor out, you could, but we can stop here because we're just converting. All right. Next, we have the same thing, but with x. So we have y squared equals 2x. This is a parabola that opens to the right, so we're going to do the same thing. Y equals r sine of theta equals 2, and then we've got to square it. And then x is r times cosine of theta. So we get r squared sine squared theta equals 2r times cosine of theta. And since we have a square here, we're going to move everything to the left side of the equation and set it to 0. All right. And let's do another one. We have 2xy equals 1. So let's just convert. 2, my x is r cosine of theta. My y is r sine of theta. And my 1 is just 1. So basically, I can group this together. If I want, I'm going to pull out the r. So I get 2r cosine of theta sine of theta. And if you notice this, 2 cosine times sine. That's your double angle formula. We have 2 r's, so let's square that. So we have r squared times sine of 2 theta equals 1. What I want you to know is that just remember that sine 2 theta equals 2 sine of theta cosine of theta. That's from your trig identities, your double angle identity. So I just simplified it that way. All right, the next one, we have 4x squared y equals 1. So I'm just substituting the x as r cosine of theta squared, and your y is just going to be r sine of theta equals 1. I'm going to simplify this. I get 4 r squared cosine squared of theta times r sine of theta equals 1. I'm going to go ahead and group my r's together. Get r cubed cosine squared sine of theta equals 1. I didn't put the 4 here because I also want to divide both sides by 4. So I'm just going to write this equals 1 over 4. All right. And we have x equals 4. What does this look like? X equals 4, that's this vertical line here. So all you're going to do here is write r cosine of theta equals 4. That means that's a vertical line. It's going to be helpful later on after we do this. This is where x is 4. And the other one we have is y equals negative 3. Remember what that looks like. That's a horizontal line here. Y equals negative 3. So y is r times sine of theta equals negative 3. So anytime you see something like that, you should know that's a horizontal line. And that's all. The next video is going to be the opposite. We're going to get r and theta, and we have to write equations involving x and y. Thank you, and have a nice day. Bye-bye.